Wonderful. All right. Welcome everyone to our class recording. Something that I like to do when I do invite people to be a part of the recording with me. And so we can get into a space where we can even have a discussion. You can stop me, you can raise your hand, you can ask a question, and we want it to flow. It's an opportunity that you will not get from a lot of online courses because they're asynchronous, right? So we don't do this kind of conversation. But as you're doing the change management process, and it's quite an extensive assignment, it's quite large, right? And I'm going to give you a little preview of the finished product. I'm going to give you a little preview of the finished product for you to see what it looks like and for you to understand that it's step by step. Now, if you remember, I think maybe last week I made a post that I am not able to give you feedback on your ideas. I know I'm a student, I'm an instructor, I'm a professor for years. I teach at the university in the day. That's what happens. People want to be sure, let me see this. Here is why I do not do that as a practice at all, even where I work at the University of Toronto. I do not do that. Especially when you teach leadership in management, when the assignment where people are creating, I want graduate students to take the opportunity to be vulnerable, to make mistakes, to think about what they're doing, to come up with new ideas, to review, revise, review, revise, review, revise. If you are a graduate student, any at all, and you are doing research, you are doing graduate work, one of the big process is review, revise, review, revise. So the idea that many of us come from at undergrad, where we 2 nights before assignment, we write it and we post it and think it's going to be great. That's not how it works. Many times you see we publish a paper, your professors, and we publish papers. That paper have gone to sometimes 3 and 4 reviews to give us feedback on our original ideas. And so for me, as we're getting into this, I want you to understand the intentionality. So there are a few things I want to bring up at the very start. And it's the word change proposal, change vision, and change process. So when you think about change proposal, on page 25 of your textbook, I'm going to read something on page 25 of your textbook. And it says, without a sense of vision, purpose, and engagement, it is easy to become a passive recipient of change. I want to read it again. Page 25 at the very bottom of the page. It says, without a sense of vision, purpose, and engagement, it is easy to become a passive recipient of change. This assignment absolutely have no idea for you to be a recipient of change. In this idea, in this assignment, in this course, you are the change leader, you are the change initiator, you are the implementer, you are leading the change. So one of the first things I want to tell you why I did that pushback, and I've done it every time, so it's not new. I want you to understand that if you are a passive recipient of change, you don't get to participate as much as you're doing now. And you have to remember that when you think about, if I should say to you, think about a change that happened in your life. Think about many of the changes that happened in your life. Were you a passive recipient? Were you the initiator? So some of you have decided you're going to come back to school. You are the change initiator. You are the one who is pushing and propelling this change. But maybe there's a person in this room, in this course, who you didn't come back to school because you decided. Maybe your job said to you, if you don't get a master's, you can't stay here. That's real. That's a real narrative somewhere. You are no longer the one who's proposing the change. You are no longer the one who is visioning the change. You do not have that kind of control. So in this assignment, that is why it is so important. So let me give you an example. If you are initiating change, one of the things you have to remember, if you are proposing and initiating change, you have to remember something. that you are control. You are in control of the change. So let me give you an example what this means. This assignment is quite extensive, right? You're going to come up with force field analysis, stakeholder analysis, power analysis. Let me just say this very clear. If I was the one that says to you, Natalie, Alexandra, honey, here is a change I want you to carry out, you would have such difficulty and challenges to do so many part of that assignment because it's not your vision. It's not your vision, Connie. It's not your vision, Alexander. You didn't make the proposals. I'm going to show you something, what some of these proposals look like from a change handle. Many of you have written your change ideas already, but I want to share something with you to see where you're at with this conversation. So let me share my screen again. And I'm going to show you a change vision statement. The Dance Revolution Change Project will support a culture of ongoing inquiry into evolving music theater industry, which will inform and enhance the educational context. This has to do with music theater dance tradition. I want to show you something. As an instructor, this is not my area of expertise. I don't have to know anything about dance, but you are going to be telling me about dance theater because you're going to tell me your vision. So when I read it, I go, oh, okay, this is what you're going to do. And if you look at the assignment when people completed it properly, then you'll realize that you have to create and argue and plan and understand. So you give me the background. If you look at this person give me the background completely of music theater, of what happens in Motown, of R&B, of hip hop. So when you say to me, Dr. Campbell, is this a good idea? I don't know if it's a good idea. You have to sell me that idea. You have to tell me that idea. Let's move on to somebody else. This person says, at Greenville Elementary, we're going to embrace a rich tapestry of languages in the heart of Quebec. Our bold vision to skyrocket French proficiency. What do I know about French? Absolutely nothing. But what I can tell you is that this vision was so clear. Look at the evaluation of the vision. Look at the evaluation of the vision. It is clear where this person wants to go with this. So as I'm reading and I'm going, okay. Okay. So you have to understand that I think a lot of people fail, a lot of leaders fail because they walk into an organization, they want to show their leadership. Change management is a big part of leadership. You just want to change something for changing's sake. Have you ever worked for a manager or a company that changed something only for change's sake? There is no clear vision. And people are upset. People have been displaced. Nobody knows the vision. There is no urgency. There are no details. Do you know how many times, you could tell me, how many times you have been a part of an organization where there's a change and people say, so what are we supposed to do? Are we going to come to work every day now? Are we going to move to new offices? Are we getting new titles? Is there going to be an increase in salary? There's so many questions. The action plan is not clear. The forces are not clear. And so I want you to understand, here's a final one. As a vision statement, Leaside High School will work to educate, train, and support staff on challenging queerphobia and heteronormativity for a more queer, inclusive, and excellence-driven space. I know exactly where this person is going. This person is clear on what they're going to call it, the data. It's clear, it's clear, it's clear. It tells me the background. I hear about the queerphobia. I hear about the homophobia. I hear what's going on. I hear about the lack of professional PLCs, professional learning community. I hear about what's going on with TDSB and the 2S LGBTQIA+. You have to sell that vision. And as you are selling the vision, I'm going to give you a little skill, persons who are listening to me, or everyone. As you are writing your vision, as you are working on next step, just put all kind of notes down. How am I going to do this? What would I do? Put a whole bunch of mapping ideas. One of the things that I plan to do next time I teach this course, because of course, we don't write the course, we teach the course. I'm going to create a pre-activity where people just brainstorm. Just throw things down on a piece of paper about what you would love to change. And as you're looking through all your ideas, here is my question. Ask yourself, which one of these ideas I could see through to the end? Do you know how many times people get stuck in this program, in this assignment? Because I'm going to tell you why. Let me give you facts right now. If you're one of those who, oh my God, the assignment is due on October the 6th, I totally forget. Let me just throw something down on paper. It's going to come back to bite you. Because when you start to do all the different layers, you don't have a vision. The ones in this class, and I've read many of them already, you are so clear on your vision. You are going to be just fine. Because you have a proposal, you have a vision, you know you want to take this, you know how you're going to initiate it, you know you're going to champion this initiative. Technically, you're championing this initiative. And so I want you to understand what it means. So when we talk about the roles, this come to you from page 27. You talk about it, that activity was there. And that is why when I say to people, if you do the activities, your paper will be fine. Notice the activities are coming up in your discussion. If you complete your activities effectively, talk to your peers, comment on your peers, they comment, you're going to see the ideas coming through. So what we want in this course are change leaders. I am not here to suggest any change for you. I am not here to suggest what you do. You are running with this in a leadership course doing change management. So as you think about this, I want you to understand the importance of considering to choose and adopt a proposed organizational change. I underline the word choices. The choice is going to be yours. Let me show you what's coming up for your next assignment before I come up into this, and I'm going to show you how choices are important, Natalie. Watch this. So let me share my screen again, and let's go into something. No, I don't want this one. Don't worry, give me a minute. I don't want the PowerPoint. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. All right, let's get into it. So this is what is coming up. And I want you to realize when you take responsibility for your ideas, how it's going to look different. So this is a force field analysis. You're going to do this in an activity already. So it's not going to be nothing too hard for you. It won't be too foreign for you. It won't be too new. It's not going to be unfamiliar. So watch this carefully. Through the change path model, so this person already create which model they are going to use. They are not using John Cotter. They are using the change part. They are not using they are using that one, right? There are many models you can use. There are many ways you can do it. I have highlighted 2 different models. We have looked at the Lewin's model. You know, the Lewin's, can you see the screen with Lewin's model, Natalie? Wonderful. It's a unfreeze, a change, and the freeze. I want you to look at the number 3 part, the 3rd bullet on the Lewin's change model on unfreeze. So when you're unfreeze, you already acknowledge the need for change. You already decide what needs to be changed. And look at number 3, handle and comprehend your thoughts and issues. You have to, this is so personal. This is so intentional. This is leadership. I know some of you may want me to have look at your pre-thing, and some of you may, I know how people are. That's a human being. You may be upset that I didn't do that. That's fine. That is fine. I am here as the professor who have done this for years. I understand this process. And I want you to understand you have to own it, because you're going to own it to all the steps. You get to decide when you unfreeze, and you get to decide when you refreeze. You get to decide in Cotter's model, which I like, to create the urgency. So what is urgent to me may not be urgent to you, Alexandra. You may be in an organization, and I can tell you for a fact, I know a particular school that a principal took over. There's a lot of changes. And one of the more urgent things that principal wanted to do was change in the school uniform. I saw so many things around that school that needed urgency. And for this particular principal, change in the school uniform was a very urgent thing for her. It got so bad because people weren't buying into it. There was no vision for why we need this, why parents need to go and buy new fabric to make new uniform, because I'm talking about a country where kids wear uniforms to school. So you get to decide. She could have decided, like another principal, I am going to build my staff team and create a whole bunch of professional development opportunities. She could have decided, like another principal, we're going to work on the plant. Old windows, broken doors, dirty campus, not enough garbage bin, no recycling. There are so many things you could work on. And I've had people say to me in this, Dr. Campbell, I had a student in another program wrote me and said, can I meet with you so I could tell you what's going on in my school and you help me to decide? And I said, absolutely not. That is, you're doing a leadership degree. You should walk out of here thinking, well, I just did create an entire mock change model, but I'm going to actually give you some good news, Alexandra. What if I tell you that I've had students who have done this course, done this assignment, and write me a letter, say, Dr. Campbell, just so you know, I am using my entire assignment at my school. So I always encourage people, if you want to do something at your school, do it in the assignment. Use it for the assignment. Create ideas. You're going to get feedback from me. You're going to get feedback from your peers in your discussion. It may help you. So I want you to look at what this force field analysis looks like. Give me a minute up here. And I want you to realize, and you're going to get this is all there in your discussion, the restraining factors, the driving forces. And these will be different, Natalie and Connie, for every single person in the course. 36 of you will have 36 separate things because you're doing 36 separate ideas. So for me, I cannot say to you, well, you shouldn't have resources as a constraint. I don't know your school. Why is look at this. Look at gender bias as a restraining constraint. Look at one of the driving forces, newly hired supervisors. But that looks different over here. That looks very different over this side of the fence. This person is creating an EDI task force. And this task force is specifically in the School of Engineering. I did that on purpose because it's not the same environment. Think about people who are studying engineering. If you think about having a group of people studying engineering versus a group of medical doctors versus a group of elementary school teachers, it's not the same. Oh, it's not the same. How do you know at DR.ABC? I have had the pleasure of lecturing to a whole group of medical doctors about anti-Black racism. I have had the pleasure of lecturing to a whole group of tons of superintendents about anti-Black racism. I have had the pleasure of going into an organization with a lot of immigrants who identify as Black to talk about anti-Black racism. Connie, it's not the same. Different audience, there are different forces. Speaking to a whole room of Black people about anti-Black racism and changes you want to create, it's whole different from speaking to a room of privileged folks who are all leaders with titles and six-figure salaries. It's a different conversation. And so budget may be an issue in one place, Alexander, but budget may not be an issue in another place. So those are the forces against change. There's a money constraint. Look at the attitudes up the second right-hand corner. Look at the attitudes. Attitudes is a force in this one. Welcome to the space, Haley. Mental health and well-being is a force for change. People are saying, I want to be better. I want to be more healthy. I want to be, my well-being needs to be taken care of for my mental health. Let's look at another one where it comes to power. So I'm giving you this, is all on the recording for you to understand how much you have to own this. How much you have to own this. Look at the forces for change and the forces against it. The good news is this is going to be part of one of your discussions, and you're going to get feedback from your peers. What are those forces? You have to decide. And I hear somebody saying, oh, Dr. ABC, should I have 1, 2, 3? Because I know some of you are like that. Should I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Should I have 5 forces against? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should I have 8 against? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know. And you're going to say, oh, that Dr. ABC is not a good professor because he didn't tell me. That's low level. Why would I tell you to write 5 and 8? I don't know your organization, Natalie. Maybe it's only 3 forces against. Maybe there are 9 forces for change and 3. It's your organization. But when I read it, here's where I know though. When I read it here, I am going to be very clear on what these forces are and what you're doing. And I've done assignment where I see people have 4 things and I go, by reading this, I said, oh, they're missing out on the resources. I don't see anything about the guidelines. I don't see anything about legal. There's clearly going to be some changes in staff from what I am reading. So you have to make those decisions. So this, as I said to you, this assignment is going to be about decision making, how you're going to be doing this. So let's jump back into our conversation as we continue this amazing discussion. Remember, you can raise your hand at any time using the raise hand icon to ask me a question. Okay, I'll definitely be happy to respond to you for that. So let's jump right back into where we were on this the PowerPoint. So here where we stopped, right? And we talk about the choices. So change agents have to deal with both reality of change and the perception. That's easy. Change agent need to build a case. So you're building the case for change with all the things you're telling me. This is what's going to drive it. This is what it's against it. This is what's not. These are the persons with the power. Let's go to power for a minute. If you look in your book on page 200, second paragraph, there's a really intentional thing about the power that's going to influence your change. Right? Page 200 and 201. Very important. It says in second paragraph, it says, in fact, the power to do things in organization is critical to achieving change. So I bet you many of you have had this experience where you are part of something happening in your organization and you may say, well, I don't have that kind of power. You have some great ideas. Have you ever run to your principal if you're a teacher, or if you are a nurse, you run to the nurse, the charge nurse, you run to whatever, and you have some great ideas. The problem is you don't have the power to execute those ideas. And so when you're thinking about what you can change, think also about your limitation of your power. Another part of this assignment that I hope to change in about maybe 2 years from now or next year, I would love for the first assignment for people not to only give me the vision, but I want them to center, and you're going to do, you can do it now to help you, to center yourself in the change. Not everybody needs to be the leader. The assignment didn't say you have to be the CEO or the CAO or the CFO or the director or the it didn't say that. So you can actually write about it, and I've had people who have done that and gotten the best grade. Change, I think one of them is here about reading. It's a classroom teacher trying to change the entire reading program in her own class. You're not trying to influence the whole school. And so she had so much power, and she made it clear. She made it very clear that she has the power to do these things. Because as a teacher, as the head of the English department, she had the power to make some changes. So as you're doing this assignment, think about that. So let's continue reading. It says, power is a crucial resource used by change agents to influence the actions and the reactions of others. And I hope you know people have abused that power. I'm sure you know that people have abused that power. Have you ever gone? I know many school teachers' experiences. You go away to school in June. You say goodbye to the school in June. You come back September. There are so many changes. You don't even want to be at the school anymore. That's reality. I know people live in that reality. I have been a part of schools where there are so many changes. And I say, Dr. Campbell, what do you think? And I open my mouth and I'm very honest. And I said, it's a lot. Too soon, too fast. I said, there's no buy-in. So what I'm teaching here, I have lived an experience. I said, there's no buy-in. I said, we didn't have any chance to even celebrate any of the wins. So you have maybe have found me on video somewhere where I have said, we are using this occasion to celebrate the wins as we continue our change process. I guarantee you I'm on a video somewhere saying it someplace, giving a toast or giving a greeting, giving a welcome or something. Because I understand when you're going to change, there must be some little wins because the people will lose hope about being a part of this change process. So as we're talking about power, look on page 201. It says positional power, network power. Oh, that one. You see that network power, you better write it down and circle it. Powerful. If you can pull on your network, it's going to be amazing. Knowledge power. Personality power. I have that. I can genuinely tell you, I have that personality power. I have the ability, I have the gift to inspire, to enthuse, to motivate people. People have followed me into change many times. And that's something I am very thankful, humble, and grateful for. You can sell a change, so to speak. But remember, you're not trying to sell them pretense. You're selling a real change because sometimes change is hard. Change is hard. But I'm going to tell you another kind of person that people like to follow for change. This is leadership I'm giving you, Alexandra. It's called knowledge power. Think about someone who has led you in the past. You really don't really like them like that. You really don't care for them like that. But you respect them because the truth is they're going to get the job done. You're not going to invite them to your birthday party now out for dinner. But you will follow them. And guess what? You will work for them because they get it. Do you know a lot of people don't like their boss, but they will never, ever, ever leave that department? Why? The boss get the results. You want to be a part of the winning team. And so that's why we talk about positional power, network power, knowledge power, personality power. And so I want you to understand how important these things are. So as we get into this, so this is another quick one we're going to talk about, then we're going to wrap up. We're not going to stay too long. The requirements for becoming a successful change leader. They have a rich, watch this carefully, they have a rich understanding of the organizational systems. A lot of us have failed, watch me carefully, you have failed to be a good change leader because of one reason. You don't know the system. You don't know the ground. You don't know. I'm always taken aback when somebody gets a new job. They don't even know where to catch the bus or where to park their car, and they walk into this new building and they want to change everything. You haven't done an environmental scan. You don't know the lay of the land. You don't know the power people in the building. You don't know the people who have. Let me tell you something. I use school examples because I'm being a school teacher. A new principal piss off the wrong teacher in the school. A lot of things can go wrong, you know. Is it that teacher who the parents really love and admire and respect? You have to get to know that teacher. If you're a new principal, you find out the teachers who have power, because you don't have the most power in the building. Think about who you want on your side. You see, I'm going to develop this assignment. I'm going to not develop because it's fabulous. It's a beautiful, but there are so many things that comes to my mind sometimes I'm reading the assignment. I would love to create something, Natalie, like my change team. So if you had to put a change committee, who are the 5 people on your staff you're going to select, and tell me why. So you would just give me, you know, pseudonyms. So you'd select Miss Clark, Mr. Brent, Mr. Lee, and Miss Dupree, and tell me why. And you say, I have to use Mr. Lin. He's a teacher who is very resourceful. He creates every single poster board in the school. If we are going to keep an event, if he's not there, it's not going to happen. He's a backdrop king. He is this. He is that. You know you got somebody to help you with the technical stuff. And in the same light, I'm giving you leadership skills. In the same light, you know who on that team is going to be pissed the moment you open your mouth and say change. Because you have to know how to deal with the opposition and the resistance to change. And if you know anything about change, there's always a juicy chapter about resistance to change, because that happens a lot. So the forces for and against change, read that chapter about resistance. That's why some people struggle with the assignment, because all they have time for is to come in, click on it, write something, post it, come something. They haven't learned anything. I'm an educator. I've been in the classroom for 28 Septembers. I could tell you, there are many people who do these programs and these courses. They really don't learn anything. What they have done is just answer questions and move on. They are too busy to learn. They are too busy to grow. You have to realize it's deeper than the A+ and the A you're going to get. How are you really walking away from this course, understanding who you are as a leader, or who you can be as a leader, and how you can harness change to be a more effective leader? So we talk about the force field, the process of identifying and analyzing the driving and the restraining forces. That's not hard, you know. Think about your change vision right now, and ask yourself, what are the things that are going to drive it? What are people going to resist? What will people resist? You realize people are still fighting not to go into work, right? People are resisting the 5 days back to work. I don't want to go to any job 5 days. I could tell you, I don't want any job we have to go in 5 days per week. But you're at school teachers. Many of you are educators and school teachers, and what principal? You have to be in the building. And if I was an elementary school teacher or whatever, I wouldn't have a problem, because that's my job. As a matter of fact, I do go to my workplace 5 times per week, many weeks, but I do get the opportunity to work from home 1 or 2 days. So ask yourself, how are you going to deal with those? And then the next one is a stakeholder. I love this one, because let me tell you something, Haley. Nothing beat the people you have. Nothing beat people. Our best resource, our best power is people power. A process of identifying the key. See what you remember when I said network power? You remember when I said network power? You remember when I said network power? Who are the key persons or groups in the organization who can influence or who are impacted by the proposed change? Who are those persons can influence? I got a new position the other day. I'm the director for the Center for Black Studies in Education at OISE. I'm going to be very frank with you. One of the first things I thought about was, who are the persons inside OISE and outside in the community that I know got my back. I want you to listen to me carefully. One of my first things was to do my own personal stakeholder. Who are the persons that I know are key individuals? They are going to show up for me. They are going to shine out. They are going to invest. And when I say invest, I don't mean money. They're going to invest their energy, their time, their inspiration. They are going to say, Dr. Campbell, I will be there. Dr. Campbell, use me. Dr. Campbell, I got you. I'll sit on the panel. Who are those individuals? And watch me carefully. I also did an analysis. Oh, I'm recording this. I also did an analysis of who are the people who are constantly miserable. And nothing that I do is going to be good enough for them. I could paint the rainbow in the place. I could sprinkle Skittles. It's not going to be good. I'm going to be very honest. And this is being recorded, so I know people have access to it. And I'm telling you the plain truth. I did that, Connie. I looked at who are those persons I know got my back, who will help with the change, who will help with the growth. And I look at those who I know they're going to be like, but why are we spending so much money on paint? You know that person. You know her. You know her. You work with her. You know which table she sits at. You can see her in your vision right now. And I say this, Ailey, you're laughing. I love it. Because here is the truth, Ailey. It is real. And these people will impact your change process. They will raise their hand in the staff meeting and say, but why are we doing that? So you have to remember the power. We talk about the power already. Look at the last sentence in this. Can you have it? You're going to have a copy. Look at the last sentence. What am I authorized to do by virtue of my title and position? Think about that for a minute as you think about power. It's a crucial resource. Can I tell you, as the professor for this class, how many things I have learned from just this assignment? I have had assignments with such amazing ideas. I was like, wow. And there's no wrong idea going on because you're trying different things. And I tell you something, if all four of you right here were doing the same exact change, I'd be happy. I would have no issue. Because I guarantee you, the lens you use, Connie, the lens you use, Alexandra, the lens you use, Natalie, the lens you use, Haley, would be different. Your position would be different. How you see yourself would be different. How much power and authority you have would be different in your particular workplaces. So I want you to think about that, what it means to be an agent of change, to be an initiator, to be an implementer, to be a facilitator. All right, so I'm going to stop with that and I'm going to go to some of the good juicy stuff that I know you want to see. Be like, Dr. Campbell, can I see that one more time? Can I see that force field analysis? I could hear somebody saying, I wonder who it is. I wonder who it is. And I love it. So let's look at this one. We're looking at the force, the driving force of the force field analysis, and the stakeholder analysis, the power analysis. I want you to look at this particular paragraph. So the person is using the first person. My first task would be to use my positional power. This person started their positional power. Remember the last slide? What do I have authority? It's from the textbook. So this person said, I'm going to start with my positional power. I own as an administrator from a with formal authority and allows me to make decisions and allocate resources. And this is by the way, notice what your assignment should look like. It's grounded in the theory. And I'm going to say this very, very clear. If your only resource you keep submitting to me is the one dry textbook, that is telling me you're not doing any reading much. You're not opening your minds. There are so many articles you could use. There's so many other books. There's so many things that you have at your school, at your home, in your office, in your organization. Stop thinking everything needs to come from this book. I have had strong papers who 5, 6, 7 sources they have included. That's graduate studies work. That's graduate level. I am here teaching graduate school. I'm not teaching undergrad. I need to see certain evidence of you have read wide. So then this person said, another form of individual power that will be key in my current level is network power. Look at this person. I am a long-standing member of the school district. I've been a part of working groups. I have been on committees. I have made connections with senior administration. I have district teachers, This person make it very clear. I got my people. I am clear on my network power. Look at this, what this person talk about. Their force. Here we go again. What are the restraining factors? Take a look. And then I want you to see what this person had again with the power. So the person talked about power, and the person went into about the Minister of Education, directors. They have talked about the power in form and authority again. This person is going to the power again. Similarly, look at this point down here. Similarly, a principal owes positional power and autonomy. This person is clear they are going to start with their institutional. If you're a classroom teacher, you don't have this power, you know. But you may have power of network and influence even more than the principal. And I'm going to tell you something. There are some school teachers on staff. They have been on 6 and 7 different committees and boards outside of the school. They know the community more than the principal. I could give you so many analogies. So I want you to think about that. All right? I want you to think about that. So don't know you have seen that. So what we're going to do as we close, don't you worry. You're going to have more examples of this. I'm going to share some samples. So you're going to see some more videos. I'm going to post some more clips from last year so you will see. So I'm going to show you what a final product looks like. So here is the abstract, the final change product. Anybody realize the part 1, the part 2, the part 3? If you look at it, it's clear that they want you to talk about the change, the model you use, the product, the change project, and the learning. The learning is absolutely a major part of the assignment. And right here, it's all the things in the appendices. So let's take a little journey through this. Let's take a little journey. So of course, the abstract is there clearly. And if you notice the person, I like the vision, that was because I requested of them. It's not mandatory. I may request of you to do it. I wanted every single assignment that they give afterwards to highlight the vision statement each time so I could refer to it. And so the part 1, it tells you what you do. The part 1, if you read your assignment, part 1 needs a discussion. Part 1B is a separate discussion. Part 2, the change project, the actual project itself. That's a different discussion. If you notice, we're talking about APA formatting. You notice double line spacing. You notice pagination. You notice paragraphing. You notice all of that. You notice citation. You notice it is absolutely clear. They are referring to appendix here, appendix there. It's how you write academic writing at this level. And then there's a very strong part of the paper. It's a statement of learning. Sorry, let me just turn this on. It's a statement of learning, right? It's very important. This very important. The statement of learning is very, very important, right? So what have you learned from this? What are you learning? It's a very important part of the assignment because I need to understand that you understood what you were doing and how you came here. And it doesn't necessarily mean that everything was great. It's about the challenges. It's about the disappointment. It's about the things that you thought would have worked, and maybe this was not such a great idea. Look at this one. My assumption that the senior staff were more rigid to change was false. That's why I love this paper so much. Tell me how you felt as you're writing the paper, as you come with these ideas. What are you discover? Where are the moments? That's what that section is about. That's what that part of the paper is about. The other part of the paper is easy because, watch me carefully now, you have already done the other part of the paper before you reach to this. This is just the resources. Look at that. Look at that. This master's level work, right? Now the other part is the appendices. You already done that. You already done all of this. So you have to put every single piece of assignment that you're doing is going to go back in this final assignment as the appendices. That's an assignment, handing over the project. If you were supposed to do this for a company or an organization, you'd have given them every single thing, the big change report, and it has all the appendices, all the different parts. So just as you do it, and I grade it and give you back, you put it exactly back into the paper, and you give it each of its own section. Stakeholder profile, that person did that like that, right? And then you see this analysis. Different people use different places. Look at the influence, flow chart of influence. These are in some of the assignments you're going to get to do activities, right? So these are things you can read and create as well. Look at the readiness to action. This person literally said to me, Dr. Cameron, just so you know, because this person got one of the top grades, just so you know, I'm actually I'm going to use my change project at my school. They were going to present their project to their principal and their staff. They love the course. They said, thank you. I take it. The action plan, it's there. You're going to put it in the appendices because I'm going to go there to see your action plan. I need to see the action plan. I need to see the action plan. It's all there. It's all required. And that's what the assignment looks like, okay? So don't be too overwhelmed. I know some of you looking at me and think, Dr. Cameron, did I just see 40 pages? But it is, the little parts are coming together. So if you notice coming up, and your next assignment, you're giving me the stakeholder, the power, and the stakeholder, and share the stakeholder, the power, the analysis, right? And so that's going to be all those three parts of your appendix. Appendices, you are already complete. You're already going to get feedback on it from me. Then you go on to your final project. So that is what this conversation is about. Are there any questions for me that we want us to capture in the conversation? I could capture one or two of your questions. If not, I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to stay back with you all for another few minutes to ask any questions you have for me as well. So this way we're going to come to the end. I want you to continue working. You'll get your feedback soon. Start thinking about all those parts of the assignment already. And remember, you are owning the change process. You are not being acted upon. You are doing the initiating. So you are not a passive person in this process. You are running the show. So run the show. Okay? We're going to stop